This is Global 99.5.
Watch this! Jump in my ride, go to the post office. Jump out the ride, to buy one stamp. Put that stamp on the letter. Send a letter to the one I love. God, tell me, who do you love? I tell you, I love nobody. Sugar apple and them choo-choo come. Girl, where you coming from? That one sounds some and you must take me silly. Jump in the ride, go to the landmark. Jump out the ride, pick out one spot. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
Well, the party was nice, the party was pumping. And everybody having a ball. Until the fellas started name calling. And the girls respond to the call. I hear a woman shout out,
who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I see the young people had a ball, cause Billy Fountains get out. Get back, Gruffy, bash Gruffy, get back, you flea infested mongrel. Gonna tell myself I man no get angry. Two 80 cows calling them K9. Hey! But they tell me, hey man, it's part of the party. You put a woman in front and a man behind. I heard a woman shout out,
who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
say, a doggy is nothing if he don't have a bone.
Oh doggy, hold your bone. Oh doggy, hold it.
A doggy is nothing if he don't have a bone.
Oh doggy, hold your bone. Oh doggy, hold it. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out?
I see the young people had a ball, cause Billy Fountains get out. Get back, Gruffy, bash Gruffy, get back, you flea infested mongrel.
Well, if I am a dog, the party is on. I gotta get my crew, got my mind, I'm gone. Do you see the rays coming from my eye? Walking to the prison, Digimon is breaking them down. Me and my white talk, short, dealing, gassy color. Any caliber, do I think I knew that's why they call me Pitbull. Cause I'm the man of the land, when it's to me, that's a who let the dogs out? 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 Who let the dogs out?
Molly Gray, your boat needed bailing out. Get a sailorman sound. Molly Gray, your boat needed bailing out. Get a sailorman sound. You wanna go to heaven, put the radar on your head, boy. That's a sailorman sound. If you wanna go to heaven, put the radar on your head, boy. That's a sailorman sound. Hear it boom, hear it boom, hear it boom, 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 boom. Feel it boom, feel it boom, Feel it, bum 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 bum. This is shown by the stars above. What goes up must come down. Here's a man that is born of a woman, has about a short time to live. All agreeable, needed barely now, yeah. That's the sailor man sound. All agreeable, needed barely now, yeah. It's the sailor man sound. Cool winds are blowing. I see now the break of dawn. Gone out the lightning and thunder. It was the darkest night. Gone out the lightning and thunder. It was the darkest night. Hear it boom, hear it boom, hear it boom, 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 boom. Ooh, feel it boom, feel it boom, yeah, feel it boom, 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 boom. Yes, it's shown as the stars above. What goes up must come down. Here's a man that is born of a woman, has about a short time to live. Good God. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's a sailor man sound. Yes, yeah, 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 yeah. This is a sailor man sound. You hear it boom, you hear it boom, you hear it boom, 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 boom. You feel it boom, oh, yeah, the sailor man sound, this is sailor man sound. Oh, this is sailor man sound. This is sailor man sound. Rolly did it this way. This the sailor man sound. Good Lord, this the sailor man sound. Oh, Rolly did it this way. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Rolly did it this way. Backbone, Rolly did it this way. Backbone, oh, oh, Rolly did it this way. In the back mode, Rolly did it this way. In the back mode, Rolly did it this way. Oh, this is sailor man sound. Sailor man sound. This is sailor man sound. This is sailor man sound. Yeah, Rolly did it this way. Oh, this is sailor man sound. This is sailor man sound. This is sailor man sound.
From East Street to Blue Hill Road, this is Global Radio 99.5.
Boys was combing sand on a beach when they find this crocus bag that was washed up on the sand. They grab a handful and they stuff it in their grandma pipe. All hell break loose when she light up last night, yeah. Ready flying, she was flying. I say, whoa, 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 whoa. Ready flying, she was flying. She went underneath a mattress and ripped out a greasy bag. Count up $10, call a grandson to her side. I know it was the two of you last night, my pipe you back. Take this $10 and bring me the whole sack.
This is 99.5.
Of Global Communications Network and the operators of
Today can be the turning point in your life by making a simple decision. fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are. We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madeira Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome
to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. I'm your host, Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this beautiful Monday afternoon. The sun is shining, and it's just a lovely day out there in the Bahamas. And so welcome to the show. Every Monday around these parts, we do what is called a Masterclass on the Constitution. And today is no different. Before I go ahead and introduce our professor, who is going to guide us through the Constitution as he has been for the past several months, we are going to throw out the telephone line. So if you would like to be a part of the show, if you have a question you want to ask, comment you want to make, the telephone numbers to call are 3260271. 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for text messages or calls is 8010271, 8010271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages, also streaming live on our YouTube channels. And you can check us out on Cable Bahamas, channel 974, as well as on radio. You can catch us on 99.5 FM here in New Providence, and also in Grand Bahama. And of course, the WhatsApp line to send us a message via text or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. So let's bring Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson into the picture. Let's see how this looks now, because I want to make sure we could see, the professor in all his glory. Looking sharp as a tack this afternoon, I should say. Professor, welcome back to the show.
Well, thank you, Ms. Malcolm, and good afternoon, Bahamas. It's good to be here. It's a beautiful day.
Now we're getting your head cut off, so I got to make sure they could see all of you. Your head is being cut off, so go ahead, do your introduction while we play with your camera.
Okay. Good afternoon, Bahamas. On Global, we are glad to be on Global Radio 99.5 FM with Ms. Malcolm. Of course, this is Constitution Day, and we are discussing issues relating to the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
We are dealing with the Nationality Act, and we may be going into that as well. But
yes,
the thing is that we need to understand our Constitution. It is our salvation document. That is all you have, beings. And if you lose that, and we can't afford to lose that, just ask Sudan, just ask Chad, just ask the people in some other nations who have lost democracy, and it will take you maybe years or decades, if you ever to get it back, And you have to go through so much turmoil. So Bahamians, what we have now, let us make sure protect it. Do not allow anyone to cause you to believe that you can only bring about change through violent means. Let me tell you, from 1729 right on up to now, the Bahamian people have been bringing about changes in administrations in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for almost 300 years, and not one shot has ever been fired, except the shot from the ballot box. And Bahamians, we have a remarkable history in parliamentary democracy. It has its flaws, it has its weaknesses. We just need to strengthen it. But the founding fathers and mothers left us a legacy that we need to work with. We have far more today than they ever had. We just have to understand it, work with it, know it, and cause our people to think seriously about changes for the future.
I see since the last time you and I sat down to talk, we lost another one of our founding fathers.
Yes.
In the person of the late George Smith.
That's correct.
Yeah, so my deepest sympathy to all of his loved ones and family members and colleagues, and slowly but surely, one by one, they're leaving us, Professor.
Yes, they are, and that is why we have to cherish those who have made significant contribution. Let us learn as much as we can for them and show our appreciation to them. I believe we don't do enough of that. We probably would remember them briefly after they're gone. That may be okay to a point, but I believe while they're alive and with us, we need to have them on stage. We need to have them center stage and give them their flowers while they're alive. Okay, we don't do enough of that, and I believe that this has to be done straight across the board. Persons in different fields have made significant contributions to the Bahamian people. We need to recognize them for what they have done.
Only a handful of them left now.
Yes.
And some of them, I do believe, I dare say, still have a contribution to make, at least from the perspective of helping us to understand what it is that the original intent was.
Yes, I would agree with that, because they were there. And we don't have too many notes. That is one thing I regret, that they didn't put too much in writing. But what we do have is the Constitution itself.
Right.
We can be sure of that. Now, sometimes, because you don't write things down, your memory could fade as you get older.
This is true.
And some things you forget, unless it's on tape. If it was recorded on tape, fine. You could always go back and play the tape. But sometimes, because of circumstances, one can forget, and the information could become distorted. We don't want to work with information that is not sure. We want to be sure of what we have, and whatever information we have, as far as this Constitution is concerned, that is what we're going to give you.
Right. Okay, so the last time, we've been all over the place, really, because circumstances required us to focus on something else, still all relative to the Constitution. And then I think last week we got back on track with regard to comparing the Nationality Act to the Constitution. And then once I think we get through the comparison between the Nationality Act and the Constitution, then we could focus back on the Constitution itself, within itself.
Yes, I think that is an excellent idea, because the thing is that the Nationality Act has played, unfortunately, a major role in immigration matters and citizenship matters. And it is something we need to look at, because any statute law that is contrary to the Constitution, whatever extent, to what extent it goes contrary to the Constitution, it is null and void, right off the top. And we have to look at it very seriously, and then we have to let our authorities know exactly what the position is. We must not be afraid to speak our minds. The Constitution gives you freedom of expression, freedom to impart ideas and opinions without interference. You have to be rude or disrespectful to others because they have a different point of view. when I deal with the Constitution, I don't have any personal feelings or expressions to offer. I'm going to tell you straight up what it says. That's the way I go when it comes to the Constitution. You can have your opinion, fine. I don't have no problem with that. I'm not going to argue with you over an opinion because everybody can have an opinion. But what does the law say? What does the supreme law say? That is final. And that's what we need to understand.
Okay. So the reason why we decided to start comparing, for those who may be new around these parts, the reason we decided to start comparing the Nationality Act and the Constitution itself is because there are a couple of points where the two don't seem to meet. And so we figured we would put them side by side.
Yes.
And see what one says in comparison to the other, with the understanding, as you just pointed out, that at the end of the day, the Constitution is the supreme law. And so it raises the question as to whether we need to closely examine, as we are now, the two to see where they do not meet, and then make corrections to the Nationality Act so it fits in line with the Constitution. Would you say that that would be a lofty goal?
Let's put it this way. When it was passed, see, whenever you make any legislation to, as it relates to citizenship, right? You have to go through the exact constitutional procedures for that to be enforced upon.
Right.
This was set up July 5th, 1973, and it was to commence July the 10th, 1973.
When you say this, you're talking about the Constitution, the Nationality Act, okay?
All right. Okay. Now, if you're going to come up and talk about citizenship and all these other things mentioned in the Nationality Act, the final sitting of the House and the Senate, you have to have 3/4 of the votes in both houses of Parliament. That's step number 1 and 2. Parliament, the House Assembly, then the Senate. Then it must be taken to the people. Referendum. With this act, that was never done. So right there, it is flawed. It is something that perhaps we need to look at very, very seriously, because an error was made, a grievous error was made right at the very beginning. And of course, the authorities have been working with it from 1973 right on up to now. Still working with it. It is still flawed. It has never been corrected. Okay, so everything that is done by it, because it's flawed, is unconstitutional, right off the top. So the best thing to do is you go strictly by what the Constitution says.
Right.
You cannot have any law that has been passed through the House, even if it didn't have to go to the people. But this is a constitutional matter. And since it's a constitutional matter, then it has to go to the people for its final approval.
Okay. So that being said, let's dive back into the Nationality Act. I think the last time you and I sat to talk about this, I believe we got to as far as, let's see, I think we got to as far as number 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Registration of minors?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe that we covered 6.1 for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Did we cover 6.2, or did we stop at 6.1?
No, I think we stopped at 6.1.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read 6.1 and 2, and then we can comment on that. So 6.1, this is the Bahamas Nationality Act, from which I'm reading. 6.1 says, the minister may at his discretion cause the minor child of a citizen of the Bahamas to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas upon application made in the prescribed manner by the parent or guardian of such child. Part 2 says the minister may, at his discretion, in such special circumstances as he may think fit, cause any minor to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas.
Now, see, both of them are flawed, right off the top.
Okay.
That's unconstitutional completely. The Constitution doesn't speak to that at all, period. That's why I'm saying you cannot have a statute law trying to circumvent the constitutional law. The Constitution is very clear as to how citizenship ought to be granted. It cannot be as the minister may think, how he feels,
right,
or any such thing. So right there, 6.1 and 6.2, that's flawed, right off the top. We can't go with that. There are specific guidelines in your Constitution and time dates. We must not forget that now. Those time dates cannot be changed. Only, like I said, any changes to the Constitution has to be through a referendum.
Right.
The government hasn't taken that stand at all.
Mm-hmm.
So it cannot be up to the minister, any minor child, as he sees fit, to make them a citizen of the Commonwealth just like that, under that particular act.
Mm-hmm.
That is flawed completely. Because there are other circumstances the Constitution says has to be considered when you're talking about citizenship, whether that person is a citizen of the United Kingdom and colonies and so on. Okay, then it speaks to persons whose neither of the parent is a citizen of the Bahamas. There's one article that deals with that. But most of those articles in the Constitution deals with people of the United Kingdom and colonies. All right? Colonies. That's what we need to understand. And even when we became an independent nation, there were some who were not even colonies, like Jamaica. Jamaica was not no colony. They got their independence before us.
Right.
So they wouldn't qualify.
Right.
So you can see how some grievous errors were made right at the very beginning when we became an independent nation. So the whole thing is flawed, where the minister, according to this piece of legislation, takes upon himself certain powers or purported powers. You see, when that happens, really, the act really has no standing at all, period. It has nothing to stand on. It has no legal standing in law because it's flawed. Putting up against the Constitution is flawed, so it's null and void right off the top.
So, okay.
So those two right there, 6.1 and 6.2?
Yeah.
They're unconstitutional.
Okay, but yet we know that there are probably quite a few people who have attained citizenship by those means.
That is correct.
So, is it your opinion that, in light of the recent Privy Council ruling,
yes,
and now all of this debate about the massive changes that are going to have to take place retroactively because of that ruling, do you think that this is something that needs to be corrected at the same time so we don't go through the pain more than once of correcting these wrongs?
That's a good question that you asked. This is going to have to be corrected because the thing is that the government is still making the same mistake it was making from the beginning. Corrected it. See, when the Privy Council made that ruling on Article 6, I think it is, about the Bahamian male having children born in the Bahamas now, not outside the Bahamas. So we got to get that thing straight. With a foreign woman, child born in the Bahamas. And at the date of the birth of that child, either one is a Bahamian citizen. So you got to understand the particulars that are mentioned in the Constitution. Now, those people were never dealt with fairly. I don't understand why the authorities, and that act is the clearest, the simplest constitutional law about citizenship in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And for 50 years, it didn't get it right. That is a serious and egregious, I call it a national sin on the Bahamian people. And I think Bahamian people have to look at that very seriously. So we got to impress upon the authorities that we got to get it right. Because all of those who got citizenship under this flawed act, those things are null and void. And it's going to have to be challenged.
Well, I dare say, Professor, that, you know, there are many brilliant minds in this country, and there have been many brilliant minds in the past 50 years, some of whom have gone on to eternity.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm sure that they knew that what is written in this Nationality Act was written in contradiction of what is in the Constitution. I'm sure they were aware of that, but yet they made the decision to continue to use the Nationality Act to grant citizenship, etc., which you are saying because it goes against the Constitution, those should be null and void.
Yes.
So this obviously will open quite a very another large can of worms, because the ruling of the Privy Council, the fact that has to now be retroactive now, the debate is, okay, so how do you do this? Do you use DNA, yada, yada, yada? That opened a particular can of worms. Now what you're saying is opening another can of worms. And so the question is, we know that people knew better or ought to have known better, but they did nothing to change this. So will it take someone taking this now to the Privy Council to say, this, according to our Constitution, is wrong because it goes against our Constitution, and seeing that they only act when the Privy Council tell them they have to act, do we have to take this to that level?
I think we'll have to. I don't think there's any choice. If the government, once it is given the facts, and this is going to be given to them, clear as crystal, if they fail to act on it, then you have to take another course of action. You will have to go to the Privy Council for final ruling. Because, see, they're not even going to recognize the Nationality Act. That's not even going to be recognized by the Privy Council. All the Privy Council is going to do is look at what the Constitution says. They're constitutionally sound in their thinking. So a statute law, which was never passed properly in the first place, to even make an amendment to the Constitution, that is flawed. So that is not going to be recognized. Now, why these people did what they did, I put a question.
Yeah, that's another show.
That's another thing again.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've had brilliant minds.
Absolutely.
I know of some who were so brilliant and so smart, they carried all that knowledge to the grave with them. But they never shared it with Bahamian people. See, a person could be brilliant and smart, but what good is it to the country? Here you have these brilliant minds who've been sitting for more than 50 years and allowed the government of the Bahamas to use a flawed piece of legislation to grant citizenship to people who wanted citizenship in this country and make them citizens by signing a piece of paper. That's an egregious act against the Bahamian people. See, we cannot operate. That's why I'm saying to the Bahamian people now, you have to watch carefully what the government does. Every piece of legislation they pass or about to pass, sometimes you don't even know what they're going to be passing anyhow, because they say they send it out for consultation. I never got anything. I've been around from the beginning. I never got one piece of legislation before for so-called consultation. Maybe I'm not in the consultation.
As a member of the public, you better be paying attention to what they're doing.
No, but you have to. This is why.
Because they will slip things under your nose.
Exactly.
And I just talking about this administration. I'm talking about generations, decades of this.
No, that is true. It's the government of the Bahamas. Whatever administration is, doesn't make any difference.
Right.
It's the government of the Bahamas that is the real culprit. The Parliament of the Bahamas and the government of the Bahamas, the real culprits in this particular exercise. We have to face harsh reality for what it is. Now, For whatever reason, these learned personalities in the judiciary could not point out to them and show them this particular flaw. It's been there all these years. And even now it's being put out, not by them, of course, but by others who have studied the information, who have proven what we are saying is factual and accurate and precise. You haven't heard any of them say it ain't true. They stay in the corner. They stay in the dark. Right? And that is an egregious act that they're doing. See, the problem I notice in this country is people don't like to admit when they're wrong, But they're not going to be able to get away with this one. This one is so right in your face that, the Bahamian people got to wake up and realize that you just can't sit back and allow the Parliament of the Bahamas and the government of the Bahamas to do and act as they please without checking to see what they're doing.
We have to take a break, Professor. Music playing. Let's take this break, and on the other side of the break, we're going to continue looking at the Bahamas Nationality Act in comparison with the Constitution of the Bahamas. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, DiGenzyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
To stay healthy, it's crucial to make sure you get the nutrition you need every day. But it's difficult to get all your recommended vitamins and minerals from food alone. Even in the United States, 94% of people are deficient in at least one nutrient. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 by Longevity is a simple, convenient, and affordable way to help your body get the essential nutrients it needs. It's an advanced plant-driven multivitamin mineral complex that contains certified organic whole foods, trace minerals, and antioxidants. BTT 2.0 supports your body's natural defense system with a proprietary blend of energy-boosting and body-loving nutrients, plus prebiotics, probiotics, amino acids, and enzymes that support digestion. With an unusually high ORAC score of 8,000, you get even more antioxidants to help combat free radicals that can cause damage to your cells. But to get the most benefit and value from any multivitamin, your body must be able to break down the nutrients so you can fully absorb them. Otherwise, they'll just pass through your system without doing any good. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 was specially formulated with synergizing cofactors to ensure you get maximum nutrient absorption. Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0 is the easiest way to give your body the balance and complete daily vitamin mineral supplement it needs for optimal support of your overall health. To learn more, contact your longevity associate.
This portion of GPS is brought to you by Tiki Bikini Hut at Junkanoo Beach. Great food, cool tropical drinks, and family fun in the sun.
And welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here in your company on this lovely Monday afternoon. This is a Masterclass Monday. And once again, we're looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas. As of now, comparing the Nationality Act to it. And before we bring Professor back up on the screen, let's throw out the contacts. You can reach us at 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272, or via WhatsApp, either call or text 801-0271. 801-0271. We are streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm and Global 99.5 FM Facebook pages. Also streaming live on YouTube on our official channels. And of course, you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974 and on your radio dial here in New Providence, Global 99.5 FM, as well as in Grand Bahama. Also check us out on the Global 99.5 FM app, where you can download the app and listen to our show. All right, so now that you know how, let's dive back into the conversation with Professor Thompson. Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson is a gentleman who every Monday comes to shed knowledge, help us to understand this document known as the Constitution. Okay, so if we get back to the Bahamas Nationality Act, number 7. It says any person claiming to be entitled to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas under the provisions of Article 5, 7, 9, or 10 of the Constitution may make application to the minister in the prescribed manner, and in any such case, if it appears to the minister that the applicant is entitled to such registration, and that all relevant provisions of the Constitution have been complied with, he shall cause the applicant to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, provided that in any case to which those provisions of the Constitution apply, the minister may refuse the application for registration if he is satisfied that A, the applicant if he is satisfied that the applicant A has within the period of 5 years immediately preceding the date of such application been sentenced upon his conviction of a criminal offense in any country to death or to imprisonment for a term of not less than 12 months and has not received a free pardon in respect of that office. 2, or should I say B, is not of good behavior. C, has engaged in activities whether within or outside the Bahamas which are prejudicial to the safety of the Bahamas or to the maintenance of law and public order in the Bahamas. D, has been adjudged or otherwise declared bankrupt under the law in force in any country and has not been discharged. And E, not being the dependent of a citizen of the Bahamas, has not sufficient means to maintain himself and is likely to become a public charge. Or if for any other sufficient reason of public policy, he, meaning the minister, is satisfied that it is not conducive to the public good that the applicant should become a citizen of the Bahamas.
Now, I heard all of that mumbo jumbo that is there. But notice what he said. He named some articles. Let's concentrate on the articles. What do those articles say?
Okay, so we got to go back to the Constitution for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's do that.
That's the real thing.
All right, so let me pull that
You
up.
said 5, 7, 9, and 10?
5, 7, 9, 10, yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so let's start with 5.
5, yes.
That would be Article 5. Okay. Let me just scroll down. Okay, Article 5 of the Constitution says any woman who on July 9th, 1973 is or has been married to a person, A, who becomes a citizen of the Bahamas by virtue of Article 3 of this Constitution, or B, who having died before July 10th, 73, would, but for his death, have become a citizen of the Bahamas by virtue of that article, shall be entitled upon making application and upon taking the oath of allegiance or such declaration in such manner as may be prescribed to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas.
Now, that applies to the woman of the man mentioned in Article 3, right?
Right.
Okay. I don't think we have any problem with that.
Okay. So 7.
Okay.
Article 7. A person born in the Bahamas after 9th July 73, neither of whose parents is a citizen of the Bahamas, shall be entitled, upon making application on his attaining thereafter in such manner as may be prescribed, to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, provided that if he is a citizen of some country other than the Bahamas, he shall not be entitled to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas under this article unless he renounces his citizenship of that other country, takes the oath of allegiance, and makes and registers such declaration of his intentions concerning residence as may be prescribed.
That's all relating to 7.
Yes.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
So
9.
then we did 5, 7. Now, what's the other one? 9 and 10?
9
Okay,
and 10.
let's look at 9 then.
9 says, notwithstanding anything, and again, we're reading from the Constitution.
That's what it says.
Notwithstanding anything contained in Article 8 of this Constitution, a person born legitimately outside the Bahamas after 9 July 73, whose mother is a citizen of the Bahamas, shall be entitled upon making application on his attaining the age of 18 years and before he attains the age of 21 years, in such manner as may be prescribed, to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, provided that if he is a citizen of some country other than the Bahamas, he shall not be entitled to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas under this article unless he renounces his citizenship of that other country, takes the oath of allegiance, and makes and registers such declaration of his intention concerning residence as may be prescribed.
Now, you'll notice in those 2 articles it talked about what? If he's a citizen of another country, any other country other than the Bahamas, he's to do what? Renounce that citizenship.
Well, now 9, that was 9.1 that I just read. 9.2 says, where a person cannot renounce his citizenship of some other country under the law of that country, he may instead make such declaration concerning that citizenship as may be prescribed. And then 3 of Article 9 says, any application for registration under this article shall be subject to such exceptions or qualifications as may be prescribed in the interest of national security or public policy.
Policy, yes. Okay.
Right?
Right. Yeah. So you have clearly defined specifics in the Constitution in those same articles for each particular situation. 5, 7, 9.
Let's not forget 10.
We come into 10. You haven't get 10 yet. Okay.
No,
but what I'm saying is, when you examine the real document which speaks to citizenship, which is the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
you see specifically what the Constitution says.
Yes.
Okay, in relation to citizenship and those that have citizenship in other countries, like the woman who has the child, born outside the Bahamas. And the person has to apply within a specified period of time.
Mm-hmm.
You can't wait till you're 60 and talk about you want to apply.
Right.
That is nonsense. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And people got to learn that the Constitution puts time limits on these things. All right? And you have to do some very specific renunciation because a person could be a citizen of another country, being born outside Bahamas. And so all those factors have to be considered. And you could move on to 10.
Okay. Let's do that. Let me bring my camera back up. 10. 10 says, any woman who, after 9th July 1973, marries a person who is or becomes a citizen of the Bahamas shall be entitled, provided she is still so married, upon making application in such manner as may be prescribed, and upon taking the oath of allegiance or such declaration as may be prescribed, to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, provided that the right to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas under this article shall be subject to such exceptions or qualifications as may be prescribed in the interest of national security or public policy.
Yes.
That's
okay.
10.
That's 10. Okay.
Of the Constitution.
Right. So you see some very specific things the Constitution mentions
Mm-hmm.
in relation to citizenship. All right. In 5, 7, 9, and 10. And so we have to examine carefully those specifics for a person to qualify. And it talks about the interests of national security or public policy,
Mm-hmm.
public interest. Okay, that's fine. All right. I really don't have a problem with that. But now he has some other things added in there in this Nationality Act. I guess you could read that again because that seemed to be convoluted.
Okay. Okay, so let's do that. So let's go back to the Nationality Act now.
That portion where you talk about,
Yeah.
we quote the articles.
Okay, again, this is Article 7. Now keep in mind what I just read from the Constitution itself.
Yes.
Article 7 of the Nationality Act says, any person claiming to be entitled to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas under the provisions of Article 5, 7, 9, or 10 of the Constitution, which I just read, may make application to the minister in the prescribed manner, and in any such case, if it appears to the minister that the applicant is entitled to such registration and that all relevant provisions of the Constitution have been complied with, he, meaning the minister, shall cause the applicant to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas, provided that in any case to which those provisions of the Constitution apply, the minister may refuse the application for registration if he is satisfied that the applicant, A, has within the period of 5 years immediately preceding the date of such application been sentenced upon his conviction of a criminal offense in any country to death or to imprisonment for a term of not less than 12 months and has not received a free pardon in respect of that offense. B, is not of good behavior. C, has engaged in activities whether within or outside the Bahamas which are prejudicial to the safety of the Bahamas or to the maintenance of law and public order in the Bahamas. D, has been adjudged or otherwise declared bankrupt under the law in force in any country and has not been discharged. Or C, not being the dependent of a citizen of the Bahamas, has not sufficient means to maintain himself and is likely to become a public charge. Or if for any other sufficient reason of public policy, he, meaning the minister, is satisfied that it is not conducive to the public good that the applicant should become a citizen of the Bahamas.
I don't know why all of that is in there like that.
Mhm.
I don't understand that at all. Because when you look at those articles have the provisions in them already there.
The articles in the Constitution?
Yes, they do.
But it didn't say anything about bankruptcy or...
No, but that's what he put in there.
Right.
I'm not that part. I'm not even talking about that. I'm saying that the Constitution itself talks about the interests of national security and public safety. Right?
Okay.
All I'm simply saying is that when you look at it, you would have to check out these individuals, the quality people you want to be citizens in your country.
falls under under the broad definition of the Constitution. That's what you're saying.
It has to fall under the Constitution because
Right.
the Constitution talks about in the interest of national security and public policy.
Okay.
Right. I don't have a problem with that because
Okay.
that's constitutional.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But now I have a problem when, and see, the thing is that you have to check out your people very carefully before you even give them, and even if it was given to them, it could be rescinded.
Right.
The Constitution allows for that.
Okay.
Okay? So I don't see why it should be in the purview of a particular personality.
Meaning
How
the
he
minister.
feels, yes,
Right. Mm-hmm.
how the minister at a given time may feel or think or his discretion. See, I have a problem with that kind of talk
Okay.
because that's not clear. He may feel good today, tomorrow he might feel bad. Then
Might
what?
get up on the wrong side
Get
of
on
the
the
bed.
wrong side of the bed, and then somebody tell him something, and then you got to look at your application. Say, Miss Malcolm, this is not proven. You see, all kind of funny things can happen when you have that kind of talk, how he thinks, how he feels, it shouldn't go by no feeling. The Constitution is very specific and very clear as it relates to what the qualifications are for citizenship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said, go back and look over that again, and let's see what the Constitution is saying. But then all this other stuff he got in there, I don't know where he's getting that from. I don't see where that comes in. But that's how they set it up. Okay? And it could be very confusing because you got statute law mixing up with constitutional law.
Well, could it be that they decided to do this because they saw where there was room for a smart lawyer to come in and challenge and possibly win to get citizenship for someone because the Constitution seems to be vague in its language as opposed to being specific like the Nationality Act?
I don't think the Nationality Act is specific. I think it's confusing. Because the thing is, if you leave it up to a particular personality,
Mm-hmm.
how he feels, how he thinks, at his discretion, Ms. Malcolm, that could be very dangerous
Mm.
in the hands of a particular personality. I don't care how good the personality is.
Mm-hmm.
The point is, the Constitution says these are, and it could be revoked. The Governor General has power to revoke citizenship. If a person has deceived you or misled you in any way, shape, or form that
Mhm.
happens down the road,
Mhm.
it could be revoked. The government has that authority to do that. Does the minister know that? Does he understand that? He can't revoke nothing. The Governor General has to do the revoking. It has to be brought before the Governor General. All I'm simply saying is the way how it is written, and you have statute law intertwining with constitutional law,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big problem right there. And I'm not saying that we should have a bunch of crooks being made citizens.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
Mm-hmm.
You would want persons who can contribute
To the
to your
development.
country.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You would have done your homework. That is talking about national security and public policy and the public interest.
Mm-hmm.
You would have done that. Now, if you get careless and you start doing all other funny things, then we have a problem. So you're supposed to be, as the government of the Bahamas, looking out for the protection and welfare of the citizenry and the country as a whole.
And the Constitution covers that.
The Constitution covers that completely. So I don't know where all this other talk he's talking about. How many years? He say 12 years or 5 years, whatever it is. A person may have been somewhere, something like that. I don't know about those things. I think you are confusing people rather than clarifying anything. It's confusing.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. We're going. This is as clear as mud.
The Constitution is clear.
Yeah.
Now, this Nationality Act, that's a different kettle of fish altogether.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right. We got to take a break. On the other side of the break, we're going to continue comparing the Bahamas Nationality Act to the Constitution of the Bahamas. And the good professor will guide us and show us where the two do not mix, like oil and water. And obviously, the more we go through this and the more we discover where there is conflict or contradiction as it relates to the supreme law, the next question is, what now? Now that we are being made aware of this, what happens next? Well, we're going to continue the comparison after this. Stay with us.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Your body's immune system is under constant pressure from things like stress, lack of exercise, and toxins in the environment. It's crucial to be proactive and support your immune system with the nutrients it needs to function effectively. But it's often hard to get these nutrients from food alone. Introducing fast-acting Zinc Plus Immune Support by Longevity. Unlike zinc-only supplements, Zinc Plus Immune Support builds on the proven power of zinc and adds complementary nutrients to give your immune system extra support. Vitamin D helps balance the effects of zinc, while our proprietary blend of natural fruit and root extracts provides the extra help your immune system needs to work against daily stressors. And we've included Longevity's exclusive plant-derived minerals to give your body the minerals it needs, but can't get from food alone. And because Zinc Plus Immune Support is delivered in a great-tasting, sugar-free, berry-flavored lozenge, it encourages quicker absorption of all these nutrients into your body. Zinc Plus Immune Support. Zinc plus the extra support your body needs to promote a healthy immune system. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, paint, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Tracklight, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blasted love.
It's gotten harder and harder to get your daily requirement of vital nutrients from food alone. Without additional vitamin and nutrient support, your health and well-being can suffer drastically. That's why Z Radical was specifically formulated. It combines a blend of antioxidant-rich vitamins, minerals, and botanicals with the protective powers of fucoidan to help fill the gaps from lack of nutrients in your foods. The core of Z Radical is fucoidan, a naturally occurring polysaccharide that helps stimulate immune reaction, protecting you against inflammation and oxidative stress. We harvest this powerful mineral-rich nutrient from brown seaweed, harvested only from the world's most pristine ocean waters to ensure the purest quality. It's then extracted using cold process technology to ensure maximum levels of bioavailability. Then we add essential vitamins that help to protect your cardiovascular and nervous systems and are crucial for optimal immune and neurological function. Z Radical also includes a proprietary blend of delicious antioxidant-rich fruits and berries. This great-tasting combination helps your body combat free radical imbalances that can contribute to a variety of degenerative conditions like arthritis and heart disease. Z Radical. Experience the power of fucoidan with antioxidant-rich berries, 8 essential vitamins, and more to provide you with potent health benefits. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM on this Masterclass Monday, where we are looking at the Constitution of the Bahamas with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. The telephone numbers to call in case you're interested with a question or comment, 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages or calls is 801-0271, 801-0271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Michelle Malcolm Facebook page, as well as the official Global 99.5 FM Facebook page and our official YouTube channels. You can also catch us on Cable Bahamas Channel 974, on your radio dial on 99.5 FM. here in New Providence. Welcome to our Grand Bahama audience as well. And you can also catch us on the Global 99.5 FM app, where you can listen to this or other shows. All right, so we're talking with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson, as we do every Monday around these parts, as we continue with the Masterclass Monday. In case you're joining us late or if you're new to the show, what we are doing is we are comparing the Bahamas Nationality Act with the Constitution of the Bahamas to see where the two meet and where the two do not. Because, as Professor has been pointing out for the past several months, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and anything that contradicts it should be under review or questioned, because at the end of the day, the Constitution prevails. And so we sort of digressed from looking at the Constitution specifically to incorporate looking at the Nationality Act side by side with the Constitution, because it was brought to our attention that there are some things in the Nationality Act that don't necessarily fall in line under the Constitution. And so with all of this talk now about citizenship and, especially following the ruling of the Privy Council, as to who's entitled to citizenship of the Bahamas, this is how we got to the place of comparing the Constitution with the Bahamas Nationality Act. So if we continue down that road, looking at the Nationality Act, we're now at Article 8. Article 8 of the Nationality Act says a person registered under Section 5, 6, or 7 of this Act, meaning the Nationality Act, shall be a citizen of the Bahamas by registration as from the date on which he is registered. Professor, do you need me to go over 5, 6, and 7, or is this clear?
Say that again, Ms. Malcolm.
So Article 8 of the Nationality Act says a person registered under Section 5, 6, or 7 of this Act, meaning the Nationality Act, shall be a citizen of the Bahamas by registration as from the date on which he is registered.
Let's check 5, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Clarification.
All right. 5 of the Nationality Act. 5.1. Subject to the provisions of this section, the minister may at his discretion cause any person of full age and capacity who is a Commonwealth citizen or a British protected person to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas if that person makes application for such registration to the minister in the prescribed manner and satisfies the minister that he is qualified to be so registered under the provision of the second schedule. Or 2, a person qualified to be registered under this section shall not be so registered unless he first renounces any other citizenship which he may possess, and if he is not a Commonwealth citizen, takes the oath of allegiance, provided that where any such person cannot renounce his citizenship of some of the country under the law of that country, he may instead make such declaration concerning that citizenship as may be prescribed. That's 5.
Okay, now what happens to that? What happens then now? That just stops right there about he's not able to renounce it, so he just makes declaration that he's not able to pronounce it. Then he also talks about the person being of full age at the beginning of 5.
Subject to this
on the nationality
provisions of the minister may at his discretion cause any person of full age. Yes.
Yeah, Now the Constitution, I don't know what he means by that full age, but I know one thing. When it comes to persons specifically who may have been born in the Bahamas, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is a period of time neither of whose parents is a citizen of the Bahamas, between the age of 18 and before he turns 19. That's very specific.
That's what the Constitution says.
That's Constitution now.
Mm-hmm.
Nationality Act, that's a different category.
Right.
All right. So right there, where he said full age,
Mhm.
fella could be 62, could be 55, could be 30 something. And he comes and say he want to be a citizen. Huh? So we got to watch those kind of things. Okay? What happens if he's not able to renounce his citizenship? It just stops right there, and the Constitution says what? He has to renounce. Where's that in 5? You see what I'm saying? So right there, we got some serious problems with that Article 5 in the Nationality Act. Now, that ain't nothing to no Constitution.
Mhm.
That's what they put in that thing. Now, you could move on to the next two.
Okay. Number
I think it's
6.
5, 6? Okay, 6.
And this, again, is the Nationality
Nationality
Act.
Act, okay.
6.1. The minister may at his discretion cause the minor child of a citizen of the Bahamas to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas upon application made in the prescribed manner by the parent or guardian of such child. The minister may at his discretion in such special circumstances as he may think fit cause any minor to be registered as a citizen of the Bahamas.
That's 6.1 and 6.2?
Yes.
No, that's completely unconstitutional. So 5 and 6 of this Nationality Act unconstitutional. Now, what's the
Okay.
next one?
7, which
Okay.
we just went over. Any person claiming to be entitled to be registered as a citizen of the... We just went over this.
Okay.
Comparing it to Article 5, 7, 9, and 10 of the Constitution.
All right.
Yeah.
So the thing is that right there you see a lot of inconsistencies in this Nationality Act
Mhm.
where the minister has purported powers that he really doesn't possess because the Constitution doesn't put that kind of power in the hands of a person like that.
Mhm.
All right? So right there you're going to have problems, very serious problems. And then it says in 8 that he can register them as citizens of the Bahamas,
Yeah. It says a person
according to 5, 6, and 7.
of the Nationality
From
Act.
the Nationality Act now, the minister can register them, according to number 8.
It
as-
says a person registered under Section 5, 6, or 7 of this Act, meaning the Nationality Act, shall be a citizen of the Bahamas by registration as from the date on which he is registered.
Well, 5, 6, 7, and 8 are unconstitutional. All of them. Because see, what the minister would be doing is wrong. He's not following the Constitution at all. See, the thing is that, you just can't lump everything in like that. The Constitution speaks specifically to citizens of the United Kingdom and colonies, as one said. And you have different categories in that thing. Number 2 speaks to persons born in the Bahamas, neither of whose parents is a citizen of the Bahamas.
Mhm.
That's the second set. Number 3, the Bahamian man who has a foreign woman,
Mhm.
child born where? In the Bahamas at the date of the birth of that child. Council is very specific about that.
Mhm.
The child is a Bahamian citizen. That ain't get straight yet. That's been knocking around for 50 years. And they were playing with that. That's the clearest of the articles in the Constitution on citizenship. And they ain't get that one straight. Now they come up with this Nationality Act with all these twists and turns in them, which are totally unconstitutional. 5, 6, 7, and 8 are unconstitutional in this Nationality Act. Because it goes contrary to the Constitution. Parliament cannot make laws. Parliament to make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Bahamas. But it can't just override the Constitution and make its own rules when it comes to citizenship. That can't happen. That just cannot happen. So we have many sections, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Even the power that the minister apparently purport to have unconstitutional, because he's saying persons under 5, 6, 7, and number 8, he could register them as citizens of the Bahamas. All 4 of them are wrong. And that's where the problem comes in, because they're not following the Constitution. It's not broad and wide open like that. Any child. I mean, what you mean, any child? As he thinks fit. Come on, man. What are you saying? He wakes up tomorrow morning sad. He got 100,000 of them out there. I can make them citizens. What kind of nonsense is that? Huh? You see how this thing could get completely out of hand?
Mm-hmm.
That's very dangerous. But the Constitution protects us against that kind of abuse. The minister doesn't have that kind of authority. Parliament doesn't have that kind of authority to trump the Constitution. Anything relating to citizenship in the Constitution has to be approved by the Bahamian people in the referendum.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way it could be. No ifs, no ands, no buts. Not because Parliament comes up with a nationality act and say, we can give the minister this. You can't do it. Totally unconstitutional. 5, 6, 7, and 8 unconstitutional. All of them.
Wow.
So the Bahamian people got some serious work to do. And I hope the Bahamian people are listening very carefully, because they got to go 50 years deep. Because some serious and egregious acts were committed by the government of the Bahamas and by the Parliament of the Bahamas. They're the real culprits. And the Constitution spells that out very carefully. See, by their own law that they pass, and when you compare it with the Constitution, you see the tremendous difference. And something is seriously wrong with that. But that can get fixed. That will be fixed.
All right, let's continue. Looking now at Article 9 of the Bahamas Nationality Act. Article 9 says the minister may, at his discretion, if application is made to him for naturalization in the prescribed manner by an alien of full age and capacity who satisfies him, meaning the minister, that he is qualified under the provisions of the second schedule, grant to him a certificate of naturalization, and a person to whom such a certificate is granted shall, on taking the oath of allegiance in the form prescribed in the third schedule, be a citizen of the Bahamas by naturalization as from the date on which the certificate was granted. Does the Constitution speak to naturalization?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
It speaks to naturalization and puts a time limit on it too.
Mm-hmm. So
now, see, when he talks about full age, you see the minister being able to do these things on a person of full age, and without reference to what the Constitution is saying. It speaks to naturalization. It speaks to persons granted citizenship and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what actually happens? This thing is so wide open now that any and everybody could be a citizen at the discretion of the minister.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very dangerous thing to do. Very dangerous. And the Constitution has specific time limits on certain things when it comes to citizenship, and we ought to go by those time limits. That cannot be altered unless there's a referendum. And I don't know of any referendum altering anything on citizenship in the Constitution.
Mm.
Now, they have this act, but even that is flawed because that has not been approved by the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So in actual reality, Ms. Malcolm, this act is not even a law.
Well, what do you mean it hasn't been approved? What do you mean it hasn't been approved? I thought...
what I'm saying to you is, you have a piece of purported legislation brought to the House of Assembly. See, I can say this slow so I can get it across the
break it down for us.
Right? Passed by persons in that house.
Right. Doesn't that make it law?
Listen carefully what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
They take it to the Senate. The Senate rubber stamps it, because that's all they do. They don't
Right.
check nothing. They just rubber stamp it.
Unless they've been instructed to send it back for whatever reason, which I've seen.
That hardly happened. They happened in 50 years.
No, man, it happened once.
When? You don't remember, right?
The powers, the governing party in the House of Assembly passed something. They had the vast majority of seats. And then somebody advised them that what they just passed could be problematic because. And so then they went to the senators and said, y'all need to reject this and send it back to the House of Assembly. And the senators voted against it. I'm trying to remember what the act was. I remember this very clearly because I remember thinking, wow, that's never happened in the country before.
No, it hasn't.
And the senators voted against it to send it back to the House of Assembly. And then they corrected whatever they needed to correct. I can't remember what the matter was, but I do remember covering that when that happened.
But okay, it should have been done with this one, but that didn't happen at all.
Mm-hmm.
But now it went to the Senate and then it goes on commentary and they signed it into law.
And that makes it law, right? Once
Right.
the Senate has signed off on it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Remember now that since it's a matter relating to the Constitution says in Article 54 that it must have the approval of the electors. The electors are those who are the registered citizens in every constituency voting on that particular issue.
Say it again. Because I never heard this before.
That's in the Constitution.
Say it again.
Article
Say it
54.
again. Explain that to us,
The
please.
electors, those who are eligible
To vote.
are eligible to vote, registered citizens, the electors.
Right.
It has to go to them for their approval.
After the Senate approves it?
After it has gone to the Senate.
Well, how come that don't happen?
But this is a constitutional issue that you're dealing with here.
I never see that happen in this country.
Well, it ain't happened with this act.
So you trying to tell me that for everything that is passes through the House of Assembly, they approve it, they send it to the Senate stamps off.
It has to be when it comes to a constitutional issue. Because this
Only with the constitutional issue.
Constitutional issue.
Uh-huh.
3/4 in the House, 3/4 in the Senate.
Okay.
Now, I don't know what kind of voting happened when they passed this thing back in 1973.
The Nationality Act, when you say
Right.
this thing, that's
But
what
I
you mean.
do know it never came to the electors for their final approval.
I know, but no bill ever passed by the House of Assembly and the Senate ever come back to us for final approval.
Only relating to constitutional issues.
But even so, I don't remember.
Well, that never happened. That's what I'm saying now. This same act that we're discussing
Right.
has to deal with what? Certification, naturalization, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a citizenship matter. So you can't just pass that like that, a majority in the House, a majority in the Senate, and it just passes and it becomes law. It's unconstitutional. It is not law to begin with. What we are working with now, what we're discussing right now, is not law. It has no legal standing. It has no legal basis.
Man, Professor, you trying to cause problems in this country?
No problems. That's what the Constitution says, not what Professor Thompson say. It has no legal standing, period. I've been doing this for 50 years. No legal standing.
And you say it has no legal standing because it was...
Because it is a constitutional matter and it never went to the electors for their approval.
And when you say go to the electors for the approval,
That's
that's
a
where a
referendum.
referendum comes in.
That's what a referendum is all about, yes. You can't change anything relating to citizenship issues unless you have
So you're trying to tell me for the last 50 years,
Yes,
our lawmakers been breaking the law,
that's correct.
operating on this Nationality
That is
Act.
correct.
That's what you're
That's
trying
it.
to say.
No, that's what it is. Not what I'm trying to say. That's what it is, Ms. Malcolm.
What a time at Dumfries Church.
You will see some more awakening. You're just starting to see it now. Article 6 was only the beginning. This is another portion that has been violated for 50 years.
Lord, what a time. What a time. What a
So
time.
anything that was done under the Nationality Act is unconstitutional. See, the National Act is not even a law. It has no legal standing. It has no legal basis. It has no standing period in law. Even though it went through the House, even though it went to the Senate, the Governor General put his signature on it. It has no legal standing. Because it did not go to the electors.
But somebody could argue that that only applies to the Constitution, and that's why this doesn't apply to that rule, because this is in the Constitution. So by virtue of the fact that it's been approved by the House of Assembly and the Senate, then this is in fact law. Somebody could argue that.
But you see, what you got to understand is what they have done is they have created something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where the Constitution, if you're going to change anything in relating to anything in the Constitution, as it relates to citizenship, you have to have a referendum. You cannot do it without a referendum.
Okay.
That's how serious it is. That's why some things have been entrenched
mm-hmm.
in the Constitution, where Parliament must go back, or the government has to go back to the people for its approval.
Mm-mm-mm.
Nothing could go on unless it's approved. Now, a lot of fraud has been committed for 50 years and still being committed.
Whew, if you haven't already done so.
We're in serious trouble.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me.
Thing. Yes, it is.
All right. Well, we're going to continue to look at this. And I want to say to all of you out there who are listening, especially those of you of the legal profession who have some knowledge of constitutional matters, if you are in disagreement with anything that the professor is saying here, we would love to hear from you. For the record, I'm trying to work on a show where we sit down and talk to one of the persons who was a part of the Constitutional Reform Commission to get their views on all of this. And I'm actively trying to secure a date with that person so that we can get their thinking as to the recommendations that were made with regard to what changes need to be made or should be made, what amendments should be made to the Constitution.
With the proliferation of QCs and what they call KCs.
Yeah, KC now.
Why it should be so difficult to get 2 or 3 of them on this show and discuss this Nationality Act? What's the difficulty? I'm just asking the question now.
If you know, I know.
Yeah. I don't know either. But I haven't heard from one single QC or KC on this particular Nationality.
But that's why I invite them now to come out to woodwork and let us know if we're off base here.
Well, they can challenge it. I got no problem with that. But I know once I stand on the Constitution, the column of the Bahamas, I'm always right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know that off the top. They can express their view because the Constitution says they have a right to their view.
Right.
But what are they saying? Because I heard a leading personality who gave a speech to some people some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
And that leading personality in the judiciary said some things to that audience that are totally unconstitutional. I'm in the process of analyzing that from top to bottom.
All right.
And there are flaws in it.
When
It's not because the individual has a position of responsibility means they're always right.
Oh, we don't like to ask questions, Ronnie. If somebody say that's gospel, that's gospel.
That's our problem.
That's gospel.
That's why we're in the crap we're in now. No man's word is gospel. The Constitution is gospel, not some word of some particular personality in the judiciary or even a cabinet minister or someone who's a representative of the House of Assembly.
All right.
That's not it. See, even the things I may say on this station, I don't have any problem with anyone challenging it. But is it constitutionally sound? That's all I'm going to ask you. Is it constitutionally sound? Yes or no? If it's not constitutionally sound, then it's wrong. You don't have to go any further with that.
Mm.
But if you believe that what Mr. Thompson, Professor Thompson is saying today is not constitutionally sound, They can pick up the phone and call. What's stopping them from calling? As long as I've been on your show for months. Come on,
Months.
Malcolm.
Months.
And explaining article after article after article until we come across this thing here.
Right.
Which kind of deters us, right? And I haven't heard anyone challenge anything. But they could. For the benefit of the Damien people.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
All right. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
On the other side of the break, we're going to continue this conversation, talking about the Constitution of the Bahamas in comparison with the Bahamas Nationality Act on this Masterclass Monday. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
At Lee Air, safety is our #1 priority. Flying since 1996, we offer scheduled flights into Fresh Creek and Mangrove Key Andros and Great Harbor Key, Berry Island, twice daily, 7 days a week. Affordable charter services are also available to anywhere in the Bahamas and the Caribbean. Lee Air Charter Services. Call 225-3267, 702-7127, or 322-1317 for reservations.
Understanding your microbiome, also known as your gut ecosystem, can change everything you thought you knew about nutrition, digestion, immunity, and metabolism. Keeping your gut ecosystem healthy and balanced is essential. Ultimate Microbiome by Longevity was specifically formulated to optimize this ecosystem. It provides the advanced support your gut needs through prebiotic, probiotic, and postbiotic supplementation. Our unique blend of probiotics includes Lactobacillus and Plantarum, healthy bacteria that can help prevent harmful bacteria from taking over your gut. Increasing your gut's population of beneficial bacteria creates a more balanced gut microbiome, which has been shown to aid in weight loss, skin health, sleep, mood, and may even help with seasonal allergies. Ultimate Microbiome also promotes the production of postbiotics. Postbiotics are key to help regulate your gastrointestinal health. To enhance digestion, Digizyme Multi-Enzyme Complex, a blend of 5 specific enzymes, has been added to Ultimate Microbiome. It can help break down food so your body can better absorb nutrients. Plus, we've added our proprietary I-26 Hyperimmune Egg Powder to aid in the elimination of disease-causing gut bacteria and help your body balance its immune response. Ultimate Microbiome, the scientific, proprietary, and holistic approach to gut health that helps optimize your body's entire gut ecosystem. To learn more, contact your Longevity associate.
For all your building needs, it's Carib Construction and Project Management on Gladstone Road. We build it all. Schools, homes, hotels, and more, including structures requiring a Phase 3 electrical contractor. We also provide project management services. The first step towards your dream building begins at Carib Construction and Project Management. Call us at 376-1556 or 341-4466.
One of the things I love about the mailboat is their relationship with Bahamas Air. I can earn travel points on my international freight and redeem them when I fly.
For me, online shopping is easy with Mailboat's U.S. addresses and regular freight delivery to Nassau. Plus, I can always prepay customs and freight, and they always notify me when my package arrives.
Yeah, a lot of people think the Mailboat is just for shipping, but they also offer a safe and secure storage facility at affordable rates, all in a central, convenient location.
We also offer passenger service into Freeport multiple times per week with a seating capacity of over 450 persons. With family movies on large screens, one hot meal included, and on-board lounge for snacks and soft drinks. We're the Mailboat. We're bridging people, products, and places.
Executive Printers is your one-stop shop for all your branding and customization needs. Letterheads, envelopes, business cards, invoices, share and gift certificates, rubber stamps, vouchers, funeral programs, brochures, flyers, banners, and promotional items like mugs, water bottles, mouse pads, and key rings, all with personable service and great quality. No project is too small or too large. For great turnaround and competitive pricing, make an executive decision. Call us at 392 813-5011.
And we are back. Welcome back to GPS Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm in your company, along with Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson, on this Masterclass Monday on the Constitution. Call in 3260271, 3260271, 3260272, 3260272. The WhatsApp line for messages and calls is 8010271, 8010271. We're streaming live on Facebook on the official Global 99.5 FM and Michelle Malcolm Facebook pages, also streaming live on our YouTube channels. And you can catch us on Cable Bahamas channel 974 and on radio Global 99.5 FM. Huge welcome to our Grand Bahama audience as well. Alternatively, you can download the Global 99.5 FM app and check us out there. Okay, Professor. Oh, man. Professor caused some people to have headache. I know some people listening to the show right now and getting you all kind of side eye and think because you caused some problems with what you said on this show today.
Well, if they're interested in learning the truth about the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
that's what they can get from me. You ain't got no opinion, no idea, although as an individual, I'm entitled to my opinion and
Right.
my view. But
Right.
then the point is, I'm not going to be able to help anyone out there by expressing an opinion when the Constitution states specifically and clearly what the position is.
Mm-hmm.
That is what is final. And people need to understand that, not the opinion or view of a particular personality or what position they held or what they are holding. That means nothing.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS. Please turn down your radio, whatever you're listening to us on, so we don't get that feedback. And listen to us through the phone. We're getting feedback from you, sir. Please turn down whatever you're listening to us on, whether it be radio or TV or whatever, and just listen to us through the phone. Welcome to the show. Caller, are you there? Okay. Listen, people, if you're going to call into the show, please turn down your radio or your TV or whatever device you're listening to us on and speak to us through the phone. Otherwise, we're going to get really bad feedback. And that's just not a good thing. So, okay, the caller is back. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good day, Lady Malcolm.
Hi, how are you?
The wonderful Professor Sidney McArthur, Walter Thompson. Good day to you, too.
Good afternoon. How are you?
You see, ain't much people calling Professor because what you're saying is correct. It ain't gonna pass. Anybody call him with anything contrary, ain't gonna pass judicial review. So they prefer to listen and learn something. But the thing that gets me, when folks like you all quote the Constitution and the laws of the land, it look like the only people that challenges these things are the foreigners, the fella from Africa, challenge and win, the Fred Smith, will challenge and win, and the Rooney Jean Charles, all them other fellas will try to challenge, but nothing is said from over 1,000 lawyers in this country. And it really, really, really baffles me why not one of them will get up and adhere to the rules and the laws. Now, maybe you and Lady Malcolm could help me with that because I don't understand it. I really don't. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for calling.
Let me just add this. I understand what the caller is saying, and he has a valid point. The thing is that you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of judiciary or those who represent the legal profession?
Mm-hmm.
What is their job? Are they supposed to be helping the Bahamian people? You got a whole army of attorneys at the bar practicing at different times. But then here is a serious issue that affects the very life of the Bahamian people. and you couldn't get one single word from any one of them out there. Let's minus those who are not constitutional personalities, but there are some out there who may be constitutionally trained.
Mm-hmm.
I would expect any one of them or any number of them to call and assist the Bahamian people. They don't have to call to assist me because I already know what the law says. So they can forget that. But help the Bahamian people. That's what we're here for. And the caller has a valid point because the caller wants information. He understands. He's baffled.
Mm-hmm.
I'm baffled too as to why. And they have to tell us why.
We have a call on the line. Caller, welcome to GPS.
Good afternoon, Michelle Malcolm. Good afternoon, Mr. Sleeper Walter Thompson. How you doing, sir?
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Mr. Thompson, one simple question I'd ask you. Are there any provisions in the Constitution in regard to persons coming by refrigerated coolers?
I know it'd be unconstitutional.
I mean, Roma said that a refrigerator cooler landed our keyport and was said that don't touch that because it's very cheap. You can't touch that one. And the rest come Michael Rose would say it's offloaded with a bunch of other people from down south, man. But that's going on in this country. I mean, it's being this corrupt, man.
That's illegal entry.
I mean, but hold on. If they come in by container, and customs are not to touch that container, and the container, some of the fall of the container, and they found out that it was humans, human trafficking. You know, I mean, I hope it ain't the government. I hope it's only a rumor. You know, but that's what I heard, and I just hope it's a rumor.
Well, I think what has to happen now with all these cameras and technology and up-to-date information and all, they want to get rid of the paperwork and all that kind of thing. Certainly there must be some way of being able to prove. And I always tell people, I just want to get the evidence. I have evidence now on a particular personality who is high up in the judiciary. Hardcore evidence. I can't move in on it because the person who it contains to hasn't moved yet. Hasn't moved yet. And I talked to that particular personality. I'm ready to put it on the air now. But the point is I'm held back because this is the problem with us as Bahamians. We have, see, if you have hardcore information, that's one thing. Not gossip, not rumor, not hearsay. Yeah. See, that's what I deal with.
But you would understand, Mr. Thompson.
No,
Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Corruption rule in this country, man. You understand that, though?
I've heard the word corruption used so often now in this country, right? Certainly we should be able to prove something.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's you know, Mr. Thompson, like all of us asleep, you know.
Yeah, but listen to me, caller. Listen to me carefully. I've heard the word corruption used very loosely in the Bahamas. You see, when I come on this show, when I say anything, I have hardcore proof.
Yeah.
Anyone out there listening could call in and say, Professor Thompson, you are dead wrong, and here's the reason why you're wrong. But not one living soul from the time as Malcolm invited me on this show. Malcolm, this has been quite a while now, for many months. Yeah. Not one single person has ever called to say, Professor, you are dead wrong, and here's the evidence why you're wrong.
Hey, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah.
Like the past colleague, the previous colleague, he mentioned like no one from the legal fraternity utter a word. Even the Kings and Queens Council, they ain't saying nothing. You know, but you know when he said that, you know, it's going through my mind why there's such a definite silence from that. I'm talking about sector of society. It's like because mostly they buy to be in politics, so it ain't but a game to be played on the Bahamian people. You feel like I come from, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, but see, I don't want to get too involved in the so-called game that's being played. I believe that the Bahamian people need to look at themselves and say, what are we going to do about this game that's being played on us? Because there's something we can do about it. And that is what I believe the Bahamian people ought to be concentrating on. See, the Constitution shows you how to deal with it, you know.
Yeah, Mr. Thompson, but I mean, to deal with it, hello?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, to deal with it, you can't basically deal with it through the courts here because the courts here are controlled by the politician. No, even though they say that the courts are a separate entity, not controlled by government. It's supposed to be autonomous, right? But, I mean, from the time they take in who is Chief Justice and this one and that one and that one, and all of them have their political sides of where they are on, right?
Caller,
And
just
it's
be careful what you say on the show, please, because we ain't trying to get sued.
I know, I ain't calling no name. I ain't calling no name. I'm just saying.
I'm just making sure you're still on the straight now.
I ain't calling no name. I'm just saying. Because, I mean, the public, be the public man, and I ain't telling you no lie, Mr. Thompson. I mean, like, why it got to be this way in this country? Because, I mean, like, we cannot say that. Malcolm Davis now, what you saying? See, that's the problem in this country, too, you know. Be like a bunch of little children.
No. It ain't about being little children. It's about staying within the confines of
I understand
the law.
But what I'm saying, I ain't going against what you're saying, right? What I'm saying is this, right? The mere fact that they don't, eventually we're not going to be able to see anything in this country. We're going to be like Haiti, you know, and we're not a people like that. I mean, like, how is it? How in this world we supposed to be living? And just gag, don't say nothing, while all this wickedness around us, all around us, every day we turn to see and thing, and the government ain't trying to do nothing about it. Yeah. But, I mean, it's obvious that if you ain't trying to do nothing about it, you're part of the problem. You create it, and that's all it is. Because if they have all the law enforcement and everything, and we have a power military in this country, that's internal. What about the external? What about the people who come from the outside who are here? Every day you turn, you see them in groups, and they ain't moving on them. Why? Because they got rights to be here. They ain't got no rights to be here because in this country it's just corrupt. You know, I go on, man. I go on.
Okay.
Thank you for calling.
Let me just say this.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, the thing is, I want Bahamian people to get out of the complaining issue because there are some clear, specific things outlined in the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas that speaks to the government, how the government ought to function, how we ought to run this country. Now, the thing is that if you have persons who are not providing that kind of service, there's a way to deal with such people. The Bahamian people need to learn to understand we have to be a better judge of good character. Okay? We just can't keep complaining day in and day out, but not organizing ourselves. One of the major weaknesses we have, and I have to help the Bahamian people on this, how to organize constitutionally, organize people according to what the Constitution says. See, the Constitution is your salvation document. The Constitution of the Colony of the Bahamas ain't nothing happening for you. You have to follow it. You have to believe in it. Don't mind whether some other personality who may be in position now not doing what is right. We understand all of that. The question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to keep complaining day in and day out, year in and year out, and make no concerted effort, which we can do if we organize ourselves, Article 24.1, to protect our interests? That's what we have to do. Now, if you're not sure how to do it, then you have to ask someone who can help you to do that. That's what you have to do.
Okay. Well, I know another thing we have to do, and that's to take our final break. So let's go to this break. On the other side, we're going to wrap things up. Stay with us. This is GPS.
Global Paradigm Shift will return after this.
Blood sugar levels play a key role in your appetite, weight gain, and overall health. When you have a blood sugar spike, you can feel confused, dizzy, and even have increased cravings. Eating carbohydrates, sugary or fatty foods, and not exercising can all cause blood sugar spikes. But now you have help in managing blood sugar levels. Sweeties by Longevity was designed to help support healthy blood sugar levels so you can power through your day. It's a synergistic blend of minerals, herbs, and nutrients that have been proven to support healthy blood sugar levels. Sweeties includes chromium, an essential trace mineral that's known for its contribution to healthy blood sugar levels, and improve metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. Cinnamon bark has been included for its naturally occurring antioxidants and support of a healthy heart. And we've even added gymnema. It's been used in Ayurveda for centuries to help promote healthy blood sugar. All the ingredients in Sweeties work together to give the best support available for blood sugar control. Sweeties, the blood sugar support supplement from Youngevity that helps control cravings and manage blood sugar levels through your day. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, the hardest place on the planet for rims, tints, and tires.
We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Trackline, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires. Cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king.
Blessed love.
As you age, factors like health, weight, diet, and lifestyle can all impact your bones, joints, and general mobility. Even everyday exercise can lead to wear and tear on your body. Over time, you might start to experience stiffness or pain due to damaged joints or connective tissue. Ultimate Glucogel by Youngevity was created to help you limit the effects of wear on your joints. It delivers a daily dose of collagen-rich gelatin your body needs for joint elasticity and maintenance. Ultimate Glucogel contains a 1-to-1 ratio of gelatin and glucosamine sulfate, which is a key building block of your bone matrix, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, and connective tissue. Gelatin's unique blend of amino acids not only help with muscle and joint health, but also has been shown to provide additional benefits for the brain, skin, and hair. Ultimate Glucogel. Natural, optimal daily support for joint health. To learn more, contact your Youngevity associate.
All right. Welcome back to GPS, Global Paradigm Shift on Global 99.5 FM. Michelle Malcolm here with our regular Monday guest, Professor Sidney McArthur Walter Thompson, who helps us to better understand the Constitution of the Bahamas, so that we can know, how to protect our rights and understand our responsibilities as written therein.
And let me just add this while it's in my head. If there are any out there, and I'm sure there are many, who don't know how to be constitutionally organized, you call me 465-5786. 465-5786. You call me after the show. And I'd be happy to communicate with you to help you according to the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That's the only document I'm working with. Not what somebody write on one piece of paper, some crappy things, and say that's the way you go. No. I don't believe in that. The Constitution is your salvation document. Without it, you're not going to go anywhere. Don't mind what you hear, all the noise in the market. Watch the price of the fish. 465-5786. You call me after the show. I'd be happy to help you. Because it appears as if people are so stupefied that they can't move. But what happened to us?
When you say the people that you're talking about,
Yes.
the general populace?
The general populace, yes, because you see, a lot of people are complaining, and I can understand the complaints. But Bahamians, we got to stop complaining now and begin to do something about the problems that we have. We are not without hope. We have plenty ammunition from the Constitution of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas to help us to get over any problem in this country. Any problem. But we're not using the Constitution. I hear them talking about all kinds of things about Grand Bahama. Not a single word about the Constitution. I just smile to myself. You mean tell me they got all these funny things happening to these people and not a single word about the Constitution.
I mean, where are we going with this foolishness? That's why we are so lost in this country, because we don't take the Constitution seriously. It's the only Constitution that's going to stand. All these other things are going to crumble. And so people get their hopes dashed because they have their trust and their confidence in what somebody told them or some things they wrote on a piece of paper, and they find that they ain't working. Because if you ask me anything, I'm going to give you a constitutional answer. If I'm not sure, I can go back and check it out to make sure it's in the Constitution, and I can tell you exactly where to find it, so you can have it for your own personal development and benefit. That's the whole purpose of these shows when I started here many months ago. It's to help you to be a better citizen, to be able to do things differently by utilizing the powers you have in your Constitution. We haven't been doing that for the last 50 years. We've been waiting on some other people to do it for us. Bahamians, we have to do it for ourselves. We just can't keep sitting back and waiting.
Because as you would have said during the commercial break, the other people that we've been waiting on may be compromised.
They could be compromised, yes. And so you're going to find that compromised people always look for the darkness. Anytime when you see people looking for dark spots, watch out for them kind of people. Okay? When people are compromised, they hide in the dark. And God's word has a lot to say about people who hide in the dark.
Wow.
And it isn't pretty. It ain't pleasant. So I'll just leave that like that.
Yeah, don't touch that because we got less than a minute left in the show.
Yeah, okay.
Professor, thank you so much, as always, for
Yes, ma'am.
shedding
Thank you very
light
much.
where there was previously darkness. Okay, so next week, God willing, we'll pick it up at Article 9.
Article 9, okay.
Of the Bahamas Nationality Act, okay? So
Right,
let's
yeah.
try to remember that.
I
Article
remember
9
that.
is where we're going to pick it up next week.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you once again.
Thank you very much.
For your always very insightful contribution to this Masterclass Monday.
Thank you, Ms. Mark.
All right, time is gone, folks. Tomorrow we have another thought-provoking show being set up for you. Make sure you tune in because it's going to be a good one. Until then, I'm Michelle Malcolm. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Enjoy your afternoon.
Global 99.5 FM remind.